Welcome to Dear Alice, a lifestyle approach to interior design.
Hello everyone, welcome to Dear Alice. Today we have a guest with us. We have Marvin Wilkinson, who has the most fabulous store in the Denver Design District.
And in Scottsdale.
Yes.
Yes.
And in Scottsdale.
Yes, we've met Marvin because he's one of our reps that comes and educates us designers on what is newest, what's best, textiles, wallpapers, De Gournay. Sue, I'll let you get into the introduction, but he's so dynamic that Sue was like, we really need to have him on the podcast because people are going to eat him up. I know a lot of you are designers, a lot of design enthusiasts, so you guys are going to love knowing what Marvin knows. Yes. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Sue.
Okay, I wrote some things down. Usually we don't write, but I'm just like, he deserves a really good intro. Marvin Wilkinson, a dear friend and inspiration. He's owner with husband Art Ellsworth of John Brooks. They have you have a showroom in the Denver Design Center. You have one in Scottsdale, and they really do have just the top shelf brands. So I don't know if a lot of you know this, designers, like they tailor to the trade, but everyone else, there is like a secret tunnel into a magical world of offerings only offered to designers. You are kind of like El Presidente of this world, I feel like.
Thank you.
But they're a showroom and they're representatives for not only fabrics and wallpapers, but all like luxury furnishings. Some of our favorite brands, again, top shelf brands, are Casamance, CNC Milano, De Gournay wallpapers, Liagre, Holly Hunt, Pierre Frey, Rose Tarlow, hundreds more. And if you go to their website, John Brooks, I think you can just Google johnbrooks.com.
Yeah, you can.
And you can see like all the lines they carry. It's amazing. He's an artist at heart and a curator of beauty and just the kindest of humans. He is who I'd want to find and talk with at any party, and one I'd describe as a true gentleman. We are so excited to have you, Marvin. And we have so many juicy questions to ask you. Sorry.
Yes, welcome.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. It's an honor. Really, it's an honor. You guys do beautiful podcasts. I love it. And I'm happy to be here to help support and educate and, be part of the community that you guys have created. It's really nice. Yes. Thank you.
And one thing that you can't see, Marvin, is that we have, I grabbed a smattering of some of my favorite fabrics and textiles from all the lines and things that you've showed us.
Awesome. Yeah. There's some CNC.
Got some teddy bear mohairs from Pierre.
Yeah.
That mohair is insane, by the way.
Natasha,
incredible, isn't it?
Color. This.
Beautiful.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Beautiful. Thanks, guys.
To be inspired while we were talking to you.
Yes.
I love it. I have mine too. So I have mine.
Okay.
Oh, good. That's great because now we're on
I
YouTube.
got some key.
Oh,
yum. It's so good.
Yes.
Yeah, I love my products. So yeah.
I'll bet. You have to feel so fortunate to get to rep the best of the best. These are the game changers in projects, the things that I feel like editors call out by name when you're using something like this.
Always.
And it's just, it makes a room to have these high-end textiles in scenes because I feel like what we're getting today is a lot of performance fabric in rooms or graded in, and we just don't get to see the artistry that is fabric because it's harder, more difficult to do what we call a COM in the industry. For those of you that don't make furniture often, that means customers own material, and that would mean that we would go to somebody like Marvin, and we would shop his beautiful showroom, and we would find an extraordinary textile to put on our sofa. And it's more expensive and it's less convenient, but it's the way to really make a show-stopping piece that I think all your friends will talk about later on,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's what you kind of describe as like kind of generational furniture, heirloom furniture, because it's a true investment, and we can kind of talk about that, when to spend on the luxuries and what you guys can think of as listeners of what you might want to invest in also. I think another really cool thing about Marvin, when I've talked to you in the past at meetings, is that you travel, like you are a stranger to no continent, and you meet with the artists and everything. So I feel like you have the real, true Hollywood story on everyone and everything and like what is inspiring and what is coming and what is long lasting in this like grand.
Well, that's been our pursuit. That's what we pursued when we started our company. We really did. We wanted to represent the artisans, we felt, why not go to the top? Let's go to the best of the best and really try to represent them. They weren't in our markets. And really, our showroom became our showroom only because of you designers. You guys wanted the product in your markets. We brought it to you and you guys started using it. And because of that, then we brought more lines in. And because of that, we brought more lines in. And we built our showroom because of you designers and your clients. So that's really been very successful.
Yeah.
We've been very happy with that. Yeah, it's great.
Can you tell our listeners really fast, Marvin, how did you start? I think that this story is really fantastic, and when John Brooks originated, and give people a peek into the short version like.
The short version of it. Art and I started in Detroit. We moved out to Colorado, and we both want to do a business together. My background is interior design, interior architecture, and then Art's is customer service, logistics management, and he has a master's in business, and so good mix. Logistics management and design. We moved to Colorado. We started the showroom in '93. And again, like I said, our pursuit was basically to try to find the best of the best. There were a lot of lines that weren't in our markets, and we knew they weren't. And we just thought, why don't we bring them in and kind of work with our design community, because we wanted to have a showroom together. We're very passionate about design products. And so we really pursued and we hunted down the best of the best lines out there, and it's been fun. It's been great.
Okay, a little bird told me that you may or may not started out of your car selling.
Yeah. So when we started, it was okay. So I won't skip that. So when we started, we were really we didn't have anything. Like, we kind of went on our just dreams and stuff to get
through caution to the wind.
So good caution to the wind, and we just kept on going. So we used 7 credit cards. I used to do drawings. We put them up on the walls. Designers would buy those. And I would go out in my car with every product we had and call on designers, because at that point, computers, and we didn't have cell phones. So if I was out calling on you as a designer and you're working on a project and you said, do you have lighting for me? I'd run to my car and make sure I had the lighting packages. Or do you have this fixture for me? Do you have any furniture that might look? I'd run out to my car and grab those things. So it kind of became, I was kind of like, I'm a carpet schlepper. I'm a carpet bagger. I brought everything to you, and we would work together and we'd build projects together. And that's kind of how it all started, really. And we have 7 states that we cover. So I would travel all 7 states, and in the beginning we had a car that was really kind of rickety down, and I would have to take the air filter off and spray starter fluid in it to get it going. But yeah, we had our start too. So, everybody has a start somewhere, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time, but it was definitely a rough road for a while.
I know. Romantic at times, hard at times.
Romantic? Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
We probably have designers that are just starting out on their journey. I know that they DM us. They're wondering what to call their businesses. And so it's fun to hear how people got their start. And we're all kind of in that same shoestring boat together when we're first starting out. And you just do it the only way you know how. And then you can eventually improve on it and improve until eventually you can afford your own showroom, your own retail space, and you can take it out of your car and just enjoy more white space probably in your life.
Yeah, I mean, we started with the lines that we have, and they just kept on growing. And now we're a really big house. We represent about 60 manufacturers.
Wow.
We have 36,000 square feet in Scottsdale.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
And we have 22,000 square feet in Denver. Of showrooms. Amazing. And then we have 3 satellite showrooms in our territories. So we have 1 satellite in Salt Lake City. We have a Salt Lake. We have 1 in Bozeman, and then we have a satellite in Aspen. And those are set up for designers to go and use. They're like libraries for them, and so that's worked out really great. Also, we're a big, broad market, and it's hard for designers to travel. So we set up something that they didn't have to travel as far, but we're able to still get really good quality product.
One thing that I love about you guys is that, yes, we have our satellite showroom. That's such a great resource. But if we call you, because we have an account with you, you guys are so fast. If I say, I need all the Pierre Frey teddy bear mohairs, will you send me anything in chocolate brown? You're like, yeah, you got it. And then we see samples within a day or two, because you guys are just so fast, and you help us create these beautiful spaces. And I love that you have an interior design background, because we can tell you what we're looking for, and you know exactly through your 60 plus vendors, who to pull from to get what we're looking for, which I so appreciate.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Well, I think the reason why we do what we do is because when I was young doing design work, it was really hard to work in design. It really was. As a young designer going into a showroom, they were very intimidating. Honestly, it was so hard for me to get appointments. It was hard for me to get memos from them unless I had a senior designer, and I was running projects at the time. And it was like, what's going on? So when we started our showroom, we decided to be completely the opposite. We're very friendly. We treat ourselves as an extension of your office. We understand that you have needs, but you don't have a lot of time. So we need to know that we need to get you your answers. We need to get you, your tear sheets, the finishes, whatever you need. We need to get that to you quickly because your time is limited with your client, and you don't have a lot of, bandwidth that you can approach your clients with things. So we really work hard at that.
That's awesome.
Okay.
That's great. Okay. Question 4. It can be designers, but also just for the general public. Where do you think people always want to know where to splurge, and where do you think people could save when they're working on their interiors?
I think good splurge places are personal spaces, like really the personal spaces, like master bedrooms. I think people's libraries. I think family rooms or main areas where people live, I think are where you want to surround yourself with beautiful things. Rooms that you're not living in as much. If you have a bigger house, you probably wouldn't do as grand a furniture. Doesn't mean you can't still find quality. The price points might be a little different, but the better quality or the things that you really love, you want to surround yourself with. So I suggest that you put it in the rooms that you're in mostly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Of all the pieces, like say in a family room, that you're like, because we design in high-low. Everybody wants that high-low game, and there's some things that should, just performance-wise be a higher price point to sustain livability, right? What do you think are like the pieces within a home that deserve quality and luxury to like really consider those when you're like kind of spreading out your pennies?
Well, I think definitely the things that really need to be quality are your comfort. So where you sit, I think seating is king for me. Yes. Like I love lounging in a sofa. So the sofa has to be really comfortable for me. Chairs are really important. Lamps are important to me, the right look, the right amount of light that comes into the room. So those things I think would be nice investments. Rugs, it depends. Everybody's a little different in design. So it's going to vary. My answer is for everybody because some people love the art of it. So they want to surround themselves with maybe like a beautiful rug, a piece of artwork in the room, a beautiful lamp that was handmade or ceramic. But the other stuff isn't as important to them. So they're going to go a little bit different. So everybody's take on luxury and what they want to surround themselves is slightly different, I feel.
Yeah. Which I think is good for any listener to hear that and think about to yourself, like what is important to you. If it's seating, make sure that the fabric's awesome. Make sure the depth is perfect.
Exactly.
But if it's like your backdrop and that art, like that for me, unlike you, Marvin, and Art, where like art is my jam. Like that is like what I find pennies to throw at because I love it so darn much. So figure out what is important to you, listener, to like really, that's what's worth the investment is what's worth it to you personally. So
100%.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That. Okay. This is probably a little bit polarizing. I don't know if you can answer this. What is the difference in your opinion between Gracie and De Gournay wallpaper?
We went there.
Ooh. Okay, so you went there.
Yes.
You know what? I think they're both incredibly beautiful lines, and I'm going to do this very politically correct. I love them both, and I've loved them both for years. In fact, I've used both of them. I think I could talk a little bit more about De Gournay in the sense that they're a family business. The father started the business. The daughters are taking over the business. We love family businesses. It's handmade. They have their own studios. They have their own workshops, and they have their own factory in China that they work out of in Shanghai. So I love that part of the quality is that they're very vertical in how they see the quality being done. And I think that's really important. They do anything from like a transitional look to more of a traditional look to more of a contemporary look. And I love that also about them. Their paper quality, I think, is phenomenal. The other lines are also, everybody has a different take. It's like fabric lines, they're all really beautiful, but they all have their own language and they all talk differently to clients. And I think that's how you decipher them a little bit more to me.
Why would you, Marvin?
Does that help?
Yeah. Why would you, Marvin, choose one over the other? Is it kind of
why would I choose one? Because
variety?
Why would I choose one? I represent De Gournay. I love them. I've gotten to know them. It's a family. I love that they are like the art of it. Like with all my manufacturers, the best thing about our manufacturers is they love what they do. So I can call them and I can talk to them about what they're doing, and they're so passionate about it. It's incredible. So I would choose De Gournay, of course.
Love that.
I remember first seeing De Gournay when they had this show called $1 Million Decorators on the air, and Jeffrey Allen Mark's kitchen in his Malibu house has the fish De Gournay paper on the wall.
Amazing.
And I was like, what is it? I could not believe. And ever since then, I was like, I've got somehow in my life, I've got to live to be able to have this wallpaper. I don't even live near the water, but that was so like metallic and just, I don't know.
Such a mood.
It was such
It was magical. It's like what you were saying. It's surrounding you with art, you know, and that's what's so beautiful about it. Yeah. It just is really art piece that's surrounding you. It's amazing.
Totally. And you've lived and you've been in design long enough, John, that Marvin. John Brooks.
You should tell us really quick, why is it called John Brooks?
Oh, yeah.
Because your name's Marvin and your husband's name's Art.
My name's Art. So it's Marvin John Wilkinson, Arthur Brooks Ellsworth.
Got it.
And it was better than and I joke about this and people hate it that I say it's better than Marvin and Arts. You know, it's
Yeah.
Good call.
Got it. So it's your middle name.
So it's our middle names. You know, we started 30 years ago and then we just wanted something really solid.
Yeah.
The other thing, we didn't want to have our names on it because when I'm out there on the road, for years, people didn't know that we owned the company because we were young and we were just going out there and doing the road. It was really good to hear how we were performing, how fast we were moving, what people thought about us. They didn't know I was the owner, so they were telling me everything about my staff and everything that was going on. So it was perfect for a while. And now most people know that we're the owners of it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But that's not why we do this. We do it because we love the manufacturers and the designers that we work with.
Totally. I love that.
That's awesome. Okay. Next up, what are your favorite up and coming brands?
Oh,
that
wow.
You're like most excited about in your space?
Up and coming or resurging, or just like what's happening with some existing brands that are like coming to the table with something
maybe
that you're
new creative direction.
about.
Yeah,
exactly.
The thing that's it's tough. There's so many great lines. Like Customers is phenomenal with their new collections that are coming out. They have incredible new wallpapers coming out. I think that's amazing.
Okay.
I think really beautiful. Mocam, same thing. Rose Tarlow, she's doing some beautiful new modern takes on traditional furniture, which I love. She's doing a beautiful fabric collection. She's doing a beautiful solution dyed acrylic collection that looks like indoor. It's great performance. People are falling in love with it. There's so many great things. A. Rudin, their upholstery, they're coming with some beautiful new designs with that. Yeah, there's so many great things. Vaughn lighting. Porter Romano is always the leader to me in lighting. Their new collections are always dynamic, exciting. They have glass, they have metal, they have clay, they have, they're very diverse, but they're very forward thinking. I think the thing that's been great for our industry, it's not a great thing, but COVID really made a lot of artists kind of reflect and kind of become artists again to me. And so the creativity, I feel, is so empowered. There's so many people that are creative right now, and there's so many beautiful things coming out all over the place. I mean, it's really an exciting time to me.
And you go to like international shows. I know you go to like shows in Paris and imagine London.
We do.
What do you think is the best show, and what do they bring to the market, and how does it like kind of flow back into the US since?
So the big show that we go to is Deco Off. It's part of the Maison Objet time. It's in January. That's the only unfortunate time that they do it. It's in Paris, and it is. I would call it. It's our fashion week for fabrics. So they're introducing the fabrics for the spring season and for the fall season, and we get to go through it and work with them, and then look at what we're going to be using. But also we get to see the designers that are designing the collections. And I think that, to me, part about going to Deco Off as a designer or as a owner of a company that represents the lines, you're meeting the designers that are designing the pieces. They're telling you why they designed it, what their direction was for, and what inspired them. And to me, it's the art of it. I mean, it's such a beautiful time and it's such a great time. The other thing, all the fabric lines are doing it. So, so many people, because we've been in the industry for 30 years, it's like a reunion. We know people from all over the country, all over the world that are part of this industry and love this industry. Our industry, most people in it love what they do. So it's so much fun getting together with everybody. It's like a reunion every year for that. So we also...
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say one other thing. And at the Paris Deco Off, the one thing that we do with 11 other showrooms is we throw a big party. It's called the American Party in Paris. And so at this point, it has turned into over 1,000 people that join us at this party. Wow. And it is spectacular. And this year and last year, it's turned more black tie. People want to go to Paris, and going to a party in Paris, it's like, why not? Pretty woman time, let's everybody get really beautiful, have a great time, and really enjoy the community and what we're involved with.
Oh, so fun. Is there a theme every year?
I think it's just the celebration of the design world. We really don't have a theme, but we usually do it in incredible buildings in Paris, and it's quintessential Paris. So it's pretty amazing.
I'm gonna put that on my bucket.
You guys will,
go ahead and
you guys will love it. It's an amazing party.
We're gonna do it one day.
Absolutely love.
Okay, good. I want to know. I'm sure all of the listeners want to know too. When you were there, did you guys see? You probably saw certain themes throughout different lines. Even though they're all different artists, everybody has their own interpretation of the world and what's coming and what's new and what's next. Were there certain colors? Because I know we're all saying, hey, it's color again. It's not just about neutrals. It's not just a black and white house. Everybody's doing color again. We're also seeing traditional has sort of been a new trend, which it's funny that traditional is trending, right? And then we also see contemporary being really, really hot. But that transitional space is one that we just barely did a panel with Traditional Home. She's calling traditional the fibromyalgia of the design category, that just everybody's putting the word transitional under this massive umbrella and nobody really knows what it means anymore, which is so funny. But with what you're seeing at the market, is there anything that you could tell to our design loving audience? What's new? What's next? What colors are just absolutely, the strongest, the best? I'm curious myself too. I think I have ideas, but you're seeing it, I feel like, before we're probably seeing it at High Point.
I'm seeing it probably a little bit sooner than you're probably saying. You know what? I think you kind of nailed it, though. It is transitional. It is a broad umbrella. The contemporary is still moving forward. That's going to continue moving forward. Traditional is moving in. It's not necessarily going to take over, but especially into our markets, out west, we're a little bit more desert. We're a little bit more open. So I don't really see the traditional really landing into our markets as much. It might be sprinkled throughout. I think furniture may look a little bit more traditional with maybe more contemporary fabrics, and doing vice versa. So we're seeing people doing like a little bit more contemporary furniture with some traditional fabrics on them. So you're getting that play. Colors that are really popular that we're noticing is like the forest greens, the mustard colors, beautiful golden browns, like variations of browns. And then when you're getting into there's also the whole group that's getting into jewel tones. Like Sanderson has a beautiful collection of the jewel tones. Morris collection is taken off like crazy. It's jewel tones. It's like traditional Craftsman prints and things. So I think color is back. I think, though, that there is a neutralness that will always resonate throughout our market. And so the neutral fabrics are still be there for us. They're just going to be different textures and different types of weaves that we'll see happening.
Yeah, because you get to see what's coming, but then you also get to see what's performing. Like, what are people buying? You know what I mean? Like that's how we're voting, is with our dollar. And so it's one thing for a line to come out and say, hey, this tangerine color is really hot and we're seeing it, but are people actually buying it, or is it just fun for us to look at and talk about
as designers?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's always, like with trends and movements, it's always a big, long road that takes to do that. I see things happening with color it's not necessarily as dynamic yet as, we're talking. I think we're talking about color a little bit more. I think people are pushing it. We're seeing a lot more people pulling color, and we're seeing a lot more orders of color. Doesn't mean that it's broad sweeping yet, because we still have the clients that are still hesitating about it. It's coming. I think geometric patterns are really pretty big, but textures in just really good upholstery weaves is still king. People love textured fabrics. I mean, it is one thing that in our markets, people really love them. And I think that's been really successful. So
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So soon I had this conversation with a woman that has worked for Century Furniture her whole life, doing visuals, different brands, choosing the fabrics and finishes for the showrooms at High Point. She's in her 70s today, and she's so frustrated when we're like, hey, tell us where the most beautiful fabrics are that you guys are getting that are graded in on your upholstery line. She's like, there's no more beautiful fabrics anymore. And she's so distraught. I think it's
probably
because
within just like kind of a certain price point graded in, like because everybody is so focused on performance, and Kryptons and all the things that just some of the artistry that she's used to, I think in her experience, just aren't as available in those markets.
And that fabric companies making things that are like $30, $50 or less a yard. She's saying they're putting all their time, attention into performance. And so we're just not seeing the beautiful textiles, the beautiful patterns and prints like they used to, that these lines, upholstery lines, are all spending all their time getting performance on the market. And so it's discouraging to hear that. And we're sitting around this table with all your beautiful fabrics in front of us. And we're like, well, here's evidence right here that there's like beautiful fabrics that are still
That's what I was going to say. Our fabric
just
lines are performance. Like Casumas is performance. They are, but they're quality and they're beautifully done. These people really do their research and they really try to find beautiful patterns that they can put together in the yarns that they have to work with. And it takes time, and as everybody does, but they seem to be able to working it out, and they're getting 40,000 double robes. They're getting really nice durabilities with it and keeping their price points not crazy. I don't think we have a fabric line that really has crazy fabric prices. Our prices tend to be really modest and doable for most of our designers, which is really nice.
And I have another question just to kind of follow up with that. Yeah. I think with like the performance fabric, everybody wants something that's bomb-proof. Of course, that doesn't exist. Nothing is bomb-proof.
That doesn't exist.
That does not exist. But I think it's been for so long, we want like people want like a synthetic blend. They want polyester, but I think there's a lot of natural fibers that, as we've talked to experts, they're like natural fibers are like, they can be wool is such a powerful thread. Silk, so strong. What are your opinions on just like some of these like natural cottons, linens, some of these other fibers that I think people kind of disregard because it doesn't say hydrophobic on it? What are your thoughts on like the longevity of those?
If you have the right mill and you have the right people putting it together, I think you can get the durability that you need. We've been able to see that with our lines, so that's been really nice.
Okay.
They're definitely finding the ability to use natural fabrics. In fact, Casumas is coming up with a natural fabrics collection. People are going back to natural fibers also because they do know they're durable and they do have longevity. We just kind of have really gotten caught up in this whole performance and this whole synthetic world that there's people that are kind of going back to wools, like you said, linens, good durable cottons, things like that. So
fewer cancer-causing agents. California stands on it. Awesome. Okay. I love that. Of the things that you see, Jess asked this a second ago, and I'm just going to rephrase it. Because you've done this for a long enough time, the trends that you've seen kind of come, in and out and in and out. What has staying power? Like of these things, what patterns do you think have staying power? As far as like when people are like, they might gravitate towards this bold stripe. Like, does it have staying power?
I think that it'll have staying power if the client is in love with it. Staying power is debatable. What's staying power to you may not be staying power to me. So I think that's where a debate comes in. But staying power, I think, is the quality of the product. That's going to be longevity for a client. And I don't think that really doing something really wild and really bold is going to be staying power. I think we all know that already. When you get loud and you get bold, it's only going to last so long. It can only radiate so long. So something that's a little bit more, again, going back to transitional, I think is going to be where your best bet for staying power is going to be, pieces like that.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's kind of like how Alsane started. There wasn't really, in our market, there wasn't anything transitional. It was all quite heavy and Tuscan, and Jess saw that niche, and she's just like, I can't find, as a designer, she couldn't find anything that she was seeing in magazines and that she wanted to use on projects. So kind of like you, that's how Alsane started also, just to try and find something that would.
Yeah, we were in a very heavy Tuscany.
It was a dark time.
Back in about 20, we were in like a dark time. Yeah, it was.
It was heavy decorating.
It was heavy.
Iron and heavy textured walls and
big heavy trims.
A lot of weight, naughty wood.
A lot of naughty alder.
Dark
Too much
brown.
naughty alder.
Did all of you guys like it then?
No.
Were you into it?
Yes. I think we all did. I think, I think the thing with design, I think it just evolves. I think,
it does evolve.
at a certain, it evolves. Like I'll move around the show and I go, wow, that's the best the showroom's looked. And then later we're moving around again. Oh my God, it's the best it looks. It's just by moving things around and seeing them in a different light. Yeah. Sometimes you're like, oh, there you go.
You know what? I think that's proof right there that you like change.
Yes.
Don't you think, Marvin?
No, you're flexible.
Yeah. I feel like I like change too. I didn't know that about myself, but I get tired of something and then I'm like, well, let's just change it. And then you get this new thrill and you're like, it's the best it's ever looked. It's because you love to see it new again,
Exactly. It's the best.
Totally.
And I think that could go to anybody's home too. Like if you're sick of yourself or whatever, it should get better. As you evolve and as you grow and experience things, like implement that into your space and your backdrop. Like
change it and
how
change
boring
it
would
again.
it be if it
change it? Yeah, you're right. Move it around a little bit.
Yeah,
exactly. I love that
living, breathing thing.
Yes.
Okay, we want to know your tips to designers and honestly humankind when it comes to develop. Give us your best tips on developing relationships.
Oh wow.
We put this in here. Oh, sorry, Marvin. I'm just gonna say we put this in here because I was like, Marvin is so good because as the owner of this company, he comes and talks to us and he tells us all the story and you make everyone feel important and like they can call you.
Everybody is important.
Exactly, it is. But you make us, but not everybody, just like you said when you first started, not everyone felt that way going into a showroom. Like, how do you develop your relationships, with your manufacturers, with clients, with just people in general?
Well, I think in general, the bottom line is being transparent and being honest right from the get-go, but then being consistent with people, really listening to what their needs are instead of thinking I know what your needs are. I really need to hear what you are looking for instead of me just automatically thinking I know what you're looking for. I think it's really important for working with a design community. And I think just being able to communicate properly and pull stuff out of other people and try to get their information and what their needs are, I think is really important. I don't know if I'm answering this correctly, but
I'll bet. You know what? I think that I was just trying to think about your origin story, and you probably learned that. Maybe you've always been that way, but maybe you extra learned that because you knew you needed to know exactly what their needs were because you needed to know how to load your car. Because you're like, right. If you're interested in light fixtures, different things are going in my car than if you want wallpaper or if you want carpets, right? So I think knowing it's more practical to know exactly what people are interested in. And then even if you can dial down from there, like I'm interested in Tuscan light fixtures because I'm building a big Tuscan home, or I'm interested, I'm doing a beach house. So I want kind of a light, bright, neutral palette. I want oatmeals, I want blues, I want yellows. Like you can load your car more practically, or you can show them the things that they're interested in. If we ask really good questions in the beginning, it's more practical. In the beginning. And you're not wasting their time, you're not wasting yours, and you're not bringing the wrong things. And so, it's becomes the Disneyland fast pass, as we like to call it, when we know exactly what people want.
Well, I think this has also taken time. My knowledge wasn't always there. My knowledge has grown over the years. And by that, I think a lot of younger designers feel comfortable talking to me about their needs because I walk through a project. Like if they're looking for a light fixture, where's that light fixture going? What else is going in the room? So I can walk them through the rooms on their needs and where they're also looking in that room. And I think that's also really helpful. I think we try to set up our sales team as an extension of your office to be able that, to be able to think a little bit ahead of where you guys are at with your projects. So we're kind of helping you get ahead of your project. And that I think is really important.
Yeah. Any other tips on developing relationships besides listening?
I think just communicating. I think it's really important to communicate and staying in touch with people. I think that's how you develop a relationship also. You don't just kind of see people and then just kind of see them a year later or 2 years later. You try to stay in touch with people. You try to get to know them a little bit better. I think the other thing is really getting to know them as a person. What are you interested in? What are your likes, dislikes? What do you do for fun? What do you like to do for, are you married or not married? Just getting really to know people. And that's always so much fun.
Yes, totally.
I love that.
Yeah. Any advice for designers or people about follow through, like follow up? Because obviously the business that you're in it's a sales business too, right?
Yeah.
And so you want to be able to close the deals because you guys need to be able to keep the lights on. But then you also don't want to seem too urgent. You need to give people time. So do you say to them, let me know when the best time to follow up with you is, or I'll be calling you on Tuesday to follow up on this? Or do you have any best practices on follow through?
Well, I think what we try to do is have our team try to get to know the designers that they're working with and how they like to work.
Yeah.
That's going to be the best way for me to work with you instead of me forcing how I work onto you. So we're really trying to reach out to the designer and say, do you want me to follow up on these quotes right away? Or do you want me to wait a week or two for you to do that? I can do it that way. Do you want me to reach out in a few weeks and see what's going on? I mean, it's kind of on the designer and how they want to be approached with it. We set up our team that they do the quote and then they follow up on the quotes for the clients within a matter of a few days, unless the designer wants them to follow up a different way. Some people want to get calls. Some people want to get emails now. Yeah. Some people don't want to be communicated with. It's all different.
We're mind readers. But
yes.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah.
Oh.
Communication is really important. I think it's the king of all that.
Yeah, it is really important, and making sure people know that they feel like they're heard. Yeah, sure.
I know that you're I just keep looking at your backdrop, and I think you've seen so many homes. You've helped people curate so many homes and all these lines. What do you think in your own home? What's your passion, and what would you want to buy more of tomorrow? As far as just like someone that's been around the block that has seen everything, what to you?
I'm probably a lot like I would buy artwork all day long.
Okay. Cheers.
I'm an art fanatic. Art and I fell in love with buying artwork a long time ago. And then we got the bug of, so we set up like these little parameters for us when we buy. I'm going to tell you a little story. So we have to agree on buying a piece of artwork. We both have to fall in love with it, and we both agree. But we also have to meet the artist and see where their passion is.
Yeah.
That's also really important to us.
Yeah.
Are they going to be just so artist that's doing a few pieces and then go on to something else, or are they really passionate and they have a vision that they want to go forward with? And that we like supporting people like that. So we'll support artists when we find them that are really passionate or really trying to make something of themselves. But definitely we're major art junkies.
Okay.
Yeah. We have a monster collection. Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice.
I love that. That's why you have 2 homes. You have to.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We need more walls.
Yeah. Yes.
I love it.
Very fortunate.
Okay. Awesome.
What have the past 30 years taught you?
That I have had an incredible life, that I get to work with incredible people, that I have an incredible design community that loves product, beautiful work throughout our region. And I'm just really proud of how our community has grown and become so professional. And so their eyes have gotten so good, and everybody's kind of stepping up and always improving. That's been really rewarding to us. I think the community throughout our whole region is just really extremely talented and very unknown to me. We don't get the publicity like they do on both coasts, and there's so much talent through our region. It's just kind of a shame to us that you don't get the recognition that you deserve. Yeah. I love the industry. I've been blessed my whole life by doing this. I get to represent artists in every way, from my manufacturers to my designers to the artists that we collect, all the way around. It's just been an incredible journey for me, being able to do this.
Well, I think your gratitude is probably what makes you successful, and your ability, people feel that, and they probably want to be near you and want to support you, and they love what you curate because you have such a great
thank
eye.
you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. That's so nice.
Yeah. So good. Okay. So we're going to ask you a question that we ask every guest that comes on the podcast. Okay. We want to know how you define luxury.
Luxury can be, so luxury to me can be time. That can be one thing. But luxury to me is quality, it's craftsmanship. It could be the artist. It could be a limited edition. It could be, it's all that to me. That's what luxury is. It's not really one thing or another. It's that vernacular is top of the top to me. Like if it's music, like listening to the best music is a nice luxury to me. Listening to a symphony play, listening to a good band play is also a luxury too. Going to see beautiful artwork is a luxury to me. We're very fortunate. We have a lot of luxuries in our lives. We just don't recognize them as luxuries. By having the visuals that we get to see every day, that to me is like incredible. We're so blessed,
Yeah,
we're so lucky.
Blessed.
We're so darn lucky.
That's
so blessed.
True. Boy, everybody's going to leave this podcast feeling blessed and fortunate. I love your vernacular for that. And I love your energy towards it because, you're right. I feel like time to be able to do the things we love, right? That's sort of, I guess, a way to sum up what you said. Just like listening to music, looking at art, whatever you love, and having the time to do what you love is really a great luxury in life.
I think that's a great charge for everybody too, is just like to look around you and identify those luxuries. Cause again, they're not all like based on,
we don't always recognize them
based on a dollar. It's a lot more than that.
No, it's not. Yeah. It's a lot more than that. Yeah. And it's something that we don't always recognize, it's something that, it is a luxury to have all this around us. It is a luxury to listen to that kind of music or have that art. Yeah. I think it's all that
food.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm a foodie. I love food. Yeah.
I bet you do. That's so fun. Well, Marvin, tell the people listening if they want to check out John Brooks. Is there a way for them to go to a website, or can you give them your digits, your address?
Yeah, so it's johnbrooksincorporated.com is basically what it is, and that's where they can find our webpage. And then go online. They can follow us on Facebook, which would be really great. We have a great Facebook page. And designers, we welcome you to come to our showroom. If you're from out of town, out of the country, we'd love to have you come visit our beautiful house. People do love our showrooms. The thing that's great about our showrooms are very homey. So people, when they come in, they feel really comfortable, even though they're really large. Our teams are amazing. They're very dedicated. That's the one thing that's made our company so successful, honestly, is our teams. They've been with us for quite a while. They're very dedicated. They love what they do, just like I do. It's contagious. So our showrooms are pretty amazing. I'd love for people to come visit.
So cool. Thank you so much for coming on, Marvin. You are such a gentleman. We've loved talking design with you today. And if any of you guys have any questions for us, feel free to send them in to Dear Alice at alicelanehome.com. Hey, thanks for listening. If you like our show, please leave a 5-star rating.